What's up guys, Noah Kwesi here, and today I'm bringing you guys my Premier League kit rankings and ratings basically. I'm going to rate every team's kit, but then I'm going to take the average rating and then rank those in a table. Should be a fun video. If you guys don't know, I'm a uniform designer as my job. Design kits, jerseys, uniforms for all sorts of sports. A lot of soccer stuff. I do like a set of soccer kits every week. By the way, I have redesigned my own Premier League kits, done full videos for all the teams last year. If you guys want to check that out, that video will be linked down below. Now my ranking system is going to start with every kit at a 5. So a blank shirt, basically like Liverpool and Nottingham Forest home kit, that's a 5. Now if there's cool additions, cool design features, it goes up. If there's bad design features, it goes down. But before we get started, I want to ask you guys, who has your favorite kit this season and who has your least favorite kit this season? And let me know down below who they are and what ratings you would give them on a scale of 1 to 10. So the first team we have is Wolves. Now their home kit I think is pretty good this season. I don't like how their orange color has slowly become like a yellow. I prefer a little darker, closer to orange, but the color balance of this shirt's really good. I like the incorporation of a little bit of white because the color balance resembles the logo with the orange and black and a little bit of white. The pinstripe subtle design is a nod to some of their kits in the past, which I really like, although I would have preferred it to not be subtle and to maybe just be black. I think that'd be a cooler design. Overall, not bad though. I give it a 6. Their away kit is a horrible color combination, and the pattern really doesn't fit the color or the style of the shirt. I think it clashes too much and doesn't have much harmony, so on my scale I give this a 2. Their third shirt I haven't got a good look at, but I do like the colors and the color balance seems pretty good, as well as having a bold design. I think this shirt will be probably their best, and I have it at a 7.5. This gives the Wolves an average rating of 5.17. A common theme in this year's Premier League kits are kits with a classic feel, and Everton is one of those teams here with their home shirt. It's a typical Everton shirt with the blue and then white collar and trim, although the trim and collar have this nice pattern which is to represent their stadium, but it adds a cool little detail to the shirt and it has some meaning, so I give this a 7.75. The away shirt for Everton is pretty interesting. I really like the color scheme, which is a reference to a pass kit, and the design actually incorporates 2 different pass kits, I believe from the 90s for Everton, although I think they would have been better off just individual designs redone rather than clashing together, because the design I don't think really works with the striping. Although it's still pretty cool, I think it could have been executed a little bit better, so 6.75 for me. Their third shirt is this typical Hummel pattern that Hummel used for a lot of their teams this season. Their best version of it is Werder Bremen's kit in my opinion. It's kind of a whatever kit, so I give it a 5. That gives Everton an average rating of 6.5. West Ham only has 2 kits as of right now. I don't know what their third kit's gonna look like. And their home is an interesting idea. I like incorporating the bubbles theme, so I think that's a cool idea. I just think it's executed horribly. The bubble design looks like some clip art or something. It's not very interesting. It's very boring. In my opinion, it negatively hurts the shirt. Also, West Ham, Burnley, and Aston Villa, if you look at this tweet, it's a very true tweet about how they kind of switch designs. So West Ham's kit kind of feels more of like an Aston Villa kit rather than their own. But overall, I think it's a very poor design, so I give it a 3. Their away would be fantastic. It would be a 7 or an 8 without the sponsor. But because the sponsor stands out so much, it kind of ruins the shirt for me. So all the good detailing, like the trim looks awesome. I like the white logos, but the sponsor completely hurts this design. So I left it at a 5. So overall, that gives West Ham a 4. One of the best executions of this classic feel is Sheffield. Their home shirt is a bit of a throwback to their previous kit from 97 to 99, and I think it looks awesome. The shirt being sponsorless really helps, and I give this home shirt an 8.5. Their away shirt also has this classic feel, and I think it's a reference to their shirts of the 80s. Looks really nice. The color scheme, I'm not a big fan of yellow shirts personally. I think it's cool. I give it a 6. Their third shirt it has the right idea. It's going for this like steel theme, which I believe is a reference to the city. I just don't like the execution of the gray and the red personally. I think this could have been done better. The texture as well kind of is like a little too tacky. It's not too bad. I give it a 4.75. I just think it's a little below the standard kit. Overall, this gives Sheffield a 6.42. Newcastle's new home kit looks very clean with their new sponsor. I think this is one of the best Newcastle shirts in recent years, and it's a reference to a previous Newcastle kit. The only problem I have with this is the trim. It has 2 white lines. I think they're just a little too thick. I think this would have been amazing if the lines were a little thinner. A subtle thing that I think could have improved the shirt greatly, so I give it a 7.5. Their away shirt is a fine design. I like this kind of abstract line thing. This is something I would do for a design, and I've done it actually a few different times. The one knock is that it's similar to a different Castor kit, the one that they did for Leverkusen last season, and I like the Leverkusen one a little bit better. Also, I think this would have been better without the white on the trim. I think if it was just black with the black logos, that would have been really cool. It's not a bad shirt. I give it a 5.5. The third shirt is a really interesting design. It's something pretty different. I like how they incorporated little bits of yellow throughout the pattern. It has a little bit of texture, which is nice. I think the color scheme's a little safe. Navy and yellow, it's pretty safe, but it doesn't like stand out too much. And I think a third shirt can be a little wild on the color. Overall though, I really like it and I give it an 8. And that gives Newcastle an average of 7, which is the highest rating so far. So for Forest, their home shirt I used as the example of a 5. Just a red shirt with some white trim. Very basic, fine, it's a 5. The away shirt has a cool striping pattern. It's very dynamic, which I like, but it's still a pretty safe pattern. The colors I really like. The white and light blue look really nice together, and then the navy logos of course complement that very well. So overall, safe design. It's nothing too crazy. 6.25 I think is a fair rating. Their third shirt could be anywhere between like a 3 and an 8 really. The one biggest knock for it is the white collar. I think just looks horrific on it, and kind of the overall texture it gets. I think the design inspiration being a castle in Nottingham, I believe, is pretty cool, and I think the overall shape of the design is pretty cool, and this could have been a really nice kit. I just think the design is executed in an odd way, so it looks very bunched at the top and aesthetically just doesn't really please you that much, or doesn't please me that much. I have to see it on the field. It might look a little bit better. The colors are okay, I think. I think if you would have just done the navy and the peach without the white collar, I think it would have been money. Or not money, but it would have been better by at least a couple points. For me though, I give it a 4.5. I think it had the right elements to be a great shirt, and it just didn't turn out as well as it could have. Overall, this gives them a 5.25 average. Luton Town, new to the Premier League, their home and away shirt are the same shirt, just with different colors. It's a nice reference to a past kit in their history when they first were in the first division, which I think is a cool reference for them. It's kind of a modern take on it. It's a pretty nice design. I give the home a 7, but since they reused the same design for the away, that gets a 5. So it averages to a 6, in my opinion. I love the dual tone coloring on the Fulham home shirt with the red and white on either side of the sleeves, or for the sleeve striping. And I love the black sleeves for Fulham. I think that just fits them so much. The dual tone coloring though really goes a long way with me because it adds a unique element to a kit that could otherwise be boring. So for me, it gets big marks, and I give it 8.25. Their away shirt seems like something straight out of the late 2000s where teams just had bright colors with like black logos, which is fine. It looks okay. Standard shirt, I give it a 5. Their third shirt is a reused design from last year, and I think the color balance isn't very good here. The color balance just feels way off. I think the darker color should have been on the sleeves, and then the pattern on the front should have been mainly the lighter color, or dominated by the lighter color. This kind of has a bad grade for me, 3.25, mainly because it's reused. Overall, they get a 5.5. Crystal Palace this year went with the half and half shirt. I believe it's the 10-year anniversary of them being in the Premier League, and when they first came up, they went the half and half, so I think it's a callback to that. Also like the design overall, I think it's pretty cool. The colors this year, I don't know if they changed up their blue a little bit, but it seems brighter, like the colors seem more vibrant, which I really like. I don't know if that's not the case and that's just a me thing, but that was one of my first thoughts, and I give this one a 7. Their away shirt has a reference to some of their past kits with the sash. I think like mainly from the 70s they did that for their away shirt, but it's in the color scheme of their first colors, this light blue, which I think is really neat. So it has some history to it in a couple different ways. Overall, it's a clean design, and I like the trim as well, incorporating some more blue. So for me, this is a 7.25. The third shirt for me has a fantastic balance to it and really good harmony. It just feels like a really good shirt that I would want to buy and wear in my day-to-day. It's also a very unique design, and it really stands out among the other Premier League shirts, which obviously this is stacked up against. It's not for everyone, but for me, it's a 9. This gives us a new leader at the top with a 7.75 average rating. Going back to that tweet I mentioned earlier, Burnley actually has a West Ham kit, which it would have worked great for West Ham. Still works for Burnley. It's supposedly a redesign of their 94 shirt, but their 94 shirt had this nice pattern on the collar and trim, which they didn't do here. If they would have done that for this shirt, it probably would have been like a 7 or an 8. Would have added a lot of interest to it, but since it's just a standard Burnley shirt or West Ham shirt, I give it a 5. The away shirt is a little too grainy for me, and I think they should have gone for a more clean design with this stripe, or just referenced a classic Burnley shirt since they have plenty of yellow and plenty of other designs that they could have pulled references from. So I'm not a big fan of this one. I give it a 4. I think the design negatively affects it. The third shirt has a decent design. The grainy effect isn't too overboard. It was close to being bad. The colors are pretty okay. I think the sponsor is the biggest hindrance on this shirt, but the cool reference to their stadium is nice. I think that's pretty neat. And it's a different design, so I give it a 6.25. This gives them an average rating of 5.08. I'm not a fan of these Nike shirts that have stripes, but the sleeves are solid colors. I really like stripes on the sleeves, or if they don't have it on the sleeves, to have the short sleeves, not the raglan. Still give it a 6 though, it's above average. Their away, I have the same complaints, but I like the green and I like the little bit of white trim on this one. I think that's pretty nice. I give it a 7. Their third shirt is a reused shirt from last year, so negative marks there. It has good colors, but the one other aspect that I don't like is the badge having white. I think it would have been better if that badge only featured black, and so all the trim elements would have been black on the bright orange. I think that would have made it a 4, but for me it's a 3 because of that. Overall, this gives Brighton a 5.33. Brentford's home shirt is a big downgrade on what they had previously, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of the black underneath the sleeves, like at the armpit area, kind of like the underarm area, I guess. I just never like solid blocks of color there. And then the gradient, I think we're a little past having the gradients on something like this. They have it on the sides and their shorts as well. It's something I used to do a lot, and I think it only works if you have like the grainy texture going on right now. I think it looks a little old otherwise. So I'm not the biggest fan of this. I give it a 4. Their away shirt is a reused design. I'm not a big fan of the pattern going on, this kind of like static-y look, but I give it a 3. Their third shirt, I think, has interesting color scheme going on. I really like the colors used. The design is unique, so I give it points for that, but I think it's executed not as well as it could have been. Like, I think the chest part looks pretty good. I like the big navy blue, like, negative space that goes through, like, below the Umbro logo. And if it would have had more of those to break up the design throughout the rest of it, and then maybe increase the vibrance or saturation of the pink and green, I think it would have been a lot better. Still think it's pretty good though, so I give it a 7.5. This gives them an average rating of 4.83. Bournemouth went with a similar design to their 96 to 98 shirt, and I kind of like the more dominant black here with like the thinner red stripes, with a little bit of the pinstripes on the sides of the red stripes. I think it's a pretty good design. I think it's one of the best Bournemouth kits, and I give it an 8. Their away has a great dynamic design that I really like. It has a color balance problem though. It has this nice pattern on the body and stuff, but the Umbro logo, the logo on the back, they just kind of blend into the design because it uses that same blue color, but I still think it's all right, so I give it an 8. Their third shirt for me is strictly not good on the distressed effect that's going on. I think if this was just a clean design without the distressed paint looking effect on the yellow section, it would have been pretty good. I think it just knocks it down to a 4 for me. This gives Bournemouth the average rating of 6.66. Aston Villa have a Burnley kit, going back to the tweet. It has a negative in the sleeves with this like little red line on either side of the shoulder. I really don't like that. I think it looks really dumb. And then the pattern is okay. I think it would have been a lot better if they would have incorporated a little bit of blue. The pattern doesn't really add anything otherwise. And the thing on the shoulder really kind of hurts the shirt for me, so I knocked it down to a 4.5 rather than just a standard 5. Their away shirt has this really cool bespoke design that I think looks really nice. Only drawback for this shirt really is that it has nothing going on the trim and the collar, so I give it an 8. Their third shirt I don't have a good reference to. It's just this one picture I have, but I think it'll be an interesting looking design. And I think the color balance will be nice, but I think the overall design isn't anything too special, so I give it a 7.25. This gives Villa the average rating of 6.58. Liverpool have their clean and standard home, red and white, looks fine, but it's a 5. Their away shirt I really like. I saw some people don't really like this, which surprised me because it's a reference to a past kit and has a really modern take on it and uses a better green in my opinion. Also, the variation in the green is just really nice. I really like that color variation. It adds a lot of interest for me. I'm a huge fan of it, so I give it a 9. Their third shirt is cool. I like the colors, but it is a standard Nike pattern. They use this for a bunch of teams in the Women's World Cup, so it's nothing too original, so for me it's just a 5. This gives Liverpool the average rating of 6.33. Chelsea have some weird kits going on this year. Usually they have one or two bangers, usually in my opinion. Their home, again to the underarm color, I don't like the white blocks underneath the arms, like of the sleeves. The logos, like being this like iridescent thing, really cool. Probably better on an away shirt. For the home on this kit, it just doesn't go with the other elements in my opinion. So I'm just giving it a 5 because I think the logo finish is really cool to keep it at an average rating. Their away shirt I think has a cool pattern, and I like the black and blue color combo. I give it a 7, but it could be a 6 too. It's nothing too crazy, but I think it's pretty nice. For their third shirt, again, I don't have much of a reference for this one. From what I've seen, it's just like a gray and black, and it looks like it has the same pattern as the Liverpool third shirt, and the Liverpool one has a way better color scheme going on. So if that's a 5, this has to be a 4. This gives Chelsea the average rating of 5.33, and our only tie in the table, which is Chelsea and Brighton, which is kind of fitting. Tottenham usually has 1 or 2 shirts as well that are really good. This year they kind of went boring. Their home has a little bit of a design going on with like an interesting pattern, but it's not like a clever pattern related to Tottenham in any way. Otherwise, it's just a pretty basic Tottenham shirt. I give it a 7 though, because the pattern is at least something of interest. Their away shirt, again, like Chelsea, has this cool finish on the logos that I really like. The overall colors throughout the rest of it, I'm not too big on. And the collar as well, I don't know. It just doesn't fit. Like the logos, I think, are a cool element that would work on the shirt. I actually think the logos would work better on this home shirt for Tottenham than for like Chelsea. I think Chelsea should have done it on an away shirt. So for me, the away is just a 5. Tottenham's third shirt is beige, and I can't think of like a tannish color shirt that looked good since Ronaldinho in Barcelona. This beige shirt does nothing for me with Tottenham, and then the chest part being white just really doesn't match. I think it would have been better being navy, so for me, this is a 3. Overall, Tottenham get an average of 5. Now we're getting into the big 3, starting off with Arsenal, who their home kit this year I really like. It's probably one of the best Arsenal home shirts of all time, and just all the elements work. The zigzag striping, which is a Arsenal motif that they've been using. It's a nice like dynamic design. So for me, this is a 9. Now on the other end of the spectrum, we have their away shirt, which, get it out of the way, this rating is a 2. I think this is the worst shirt in the Premier League this season. Their third shirt, on the other hand, I think fits them and has a nice classy feel. Love the alternate badge being just the gun. I think that's really cool, and I really like the AFC on the collar. Very unique feature. Interesting color scheme too. Kind of a classic feel with the colors. It feels very like 90s or something. So for me, this is a 7.5. This gives Arsenal the average rating of 6.17. Kind of seems unfair that they're like below Liverpool and some of these teams, but their away shirt is that bad. So if you don't know, I actually support United in the Premier League. So if you're wondering about any bias or anything, this is where it may come in. I don't think I negatively judged any of the other teams, but I might hold United in a little bit more positive light than other people, especially when it comes to this away shirt. Their home shirt, however, I think is one of the best United home shirts ever. I like the subtle pattern that they have going on and what it represents. I think that's really cool. The collar trim is really nice, really clean. Just the overall subtle design really adds like a flair to the shirt that we usually don't have. So for me, this is an 8. The away is very weird. It's not very United. I actually think this color scheme is very like Liverpool. Like this green is a very Liverpool color, which kind of negatively affects it. This feels also like a very classic shirt. Personally, I'm on the more positive side with this one, so I give it a 6. The United third shirt I really like. The alternate logo being the devil is awesome. I hope that's like a thing that sticks around for a while because I think it looks great. The collar looks nice and clean, and then the white stripes on the white shirt. I don't remember Adidas doing that too often with shirts, but I think it looks so good. If it didn't have the sponsors, it would be one of the best shirts, I think. Of course, sponsors always hurt the shirt, but for me, this would be a 7.5. This gives United the average rating of 7.17. City's home shirt is clean. I like the blue and white. I think that combo always looks good. I think the pattern they have going on adds nothing to the shirt. It doesn't look that good to increase the rating substantially, so for me, it's just a 5.5. Their away shirt has some of the best logo finish I've ever seen. Like this orange with the reflectiveness that it has going on. Looks fantastic, especially with the dark red accents on the sleeve and collar. Probably one of the best shirts, and I have it as an 8. Their third shirt, and why they're last, I have as a 9 because I love the color balance here. This is the only shirt in this project, which is something like I feel like I would design. This is right up my alley. Got the dark color with like this bright cyan design going on. The red logos to add a different color variation in there too. But just a great shirt overall. For me, it's a 9. Absolutely love it. Overall, this gives them the average of 7.5. If we take a look at the table, you can see we got Crystal Palace, Man City, Man United, Newcastle, and Bournemouth as the top 5. And at the bottom, we have Tottenham, Brentford, and West Ham. If we take United out of the equation because of possible bias, Aston Villa is the next up in the top 5. So I guess that's who I think has the best kits this season. Let me know what you guys think of my table and my ratings. Also, let me know your favorite kits for this season and your least favorite. I think we can all agree on a certain Arsenal shirt somewhere in there. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy and like the video as well, and I will see you in the next one.